Ever since I was 4 years old, I remember always staring off into the distance and wondering just what my life would be like. I was hyper fixated on the future. And I did know that I wanted my life to not be stuck in poverty, not having to use food stamps at the store, not living on low welfare and the housing authority. I knew that that's what I didn't want. But the main underlying question was how? How would I do this? So fast forward 15, 20 years later, and I now understand how to do it. But a big hill that I'm now at and I'm facing is outgrowing people. I'm in a awkward phase of my life where I can see the gap growing between me, certain friends, and even certain activities that I used to enjoy doing so much. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about something no one really touches on often, and that's outgrowing people. I am 23 years old, not too young, but not too old yet. But I am expected to understand what I want to do in my life. And I do know what I want to do, how I'm going to do it. I have a plan set up and all these great things. But I realized that what I'm doing now is what I talked about when I was younger. When I sat on the front porch and just stared off in the distance, wondering what my life would look like. And for the longest time, I've always had this vision of where I want to be in my head. Even now, as I'm sitting here talking, I can visualize where I'm going to be in the next 10, 15 years, but I can't put it into words. But I know it when I see it. This is what I saw when I was that 10, 12, 15-year-old kid sitting on the porch or walking through the woods in the backyard, wondering what would I be? And I realized I would have these conversations of these visions I was having with close friends, even family members, and they would have the same glow in their eyes too. And I now realize that most of these conversations that I was having was mostly me talking to myself and the other person just noise in the background. Because action speaks louder than words. We were supposed to do this together. We were supposed to get here together and grow and grow and grow. But that's not the case because other demons came out of nowhere. Drugs came out of nowhere. You were stuck worrying about the popularity contest, wanted to dress to impress, wanted to showcase money, and all these things that no longer align with our values. So we grow further and further apart. And I understand that it's okay to outgrow people. My mom told me, my dad told me, even my granddad told me. It's okay to outgrow people because no one thing remains the same for a long period of time. And I wish I was lying, but it's the truth. The American Center of Science found that 59% of young adults have less than three close friends. And that number shrinks lower and lower as you exit your 20s into your 30s, and so on and so forth. But I realized that it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm becoming an adult. And that's okay. But I sometimes get down on myself because I feel like, why can't other people feel and think the way I do? Well, that's how I used to think, but I realized that becoming an adult is a very complex time in your life because you're maturing and you're outgrowing things that you used to bond over. A study from the UK found that 48% of people said their hobbies changed from the age of 20 to 30. Now, obviously, this comes with priorities, stress, and just evolving tastes. Translation is people aren't boring, they just have different things that they value. And fun times are they're okay to dwell on, but fun times are just that. They're fun times. They're not the foundation for a lifetime relationship or friendship. They're not the foundation to a contract that says you two have to be in touch for the rest of your lives. It's okay to relive them, but if every conversation you have is, "Hey, do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember?" Everything is about memories. Nothing is about creating new memories and moving forward. It's like people, they get stuck in this trance of reliving in the glory days. And like I mentioned before, I'm a first generation military member, first generation to graduate from college with a bachelor's degree, first generation to do anything, to even get on the plane. I'm the first, and I plan on paving this forward and passing it on through generations to my kids and so on and so forth. But when I look back, 4 or 5 generations of people before me who who are still in the same place. And I'm not stingy with breaking bread. I try to share stories and go and give back. But when you are telling your stories of the things you see, you say you should come along too. And you look around, you see these eyes of envy and resentment because they don't feel that they're good enough to go and do it. You feel bad. Now it's like, well, did I say something wrong when I'm trying to share and teach you how to do it? But you don't want to have the capacity to learn how to do it because you'd rather go and smoke. You'd rather hang out all night. You'd rather go out to the club. You'd rather go and pop bottles and get sections and record sparklers and signs coming to your section so you can look like you're living this lavish lifestyle.
The first reason why having a section helps is it gives you status. Think about 90 to 95% of the people there are going general admission or GA. By you having a section in that club, that makes you VIP, which gives you status for the night. So, and as a guy that's had sections a bunch of times, what happens is girls start looking at you.
You rather go on trips to Cabo and Mexico, Germany, all these other places, but you can't even name the specific state that you're going to in said country. It's like trying to uphold this image. But luckily for me, I never cared how I looked. I never cared about the opinions of others. I just knew that I need to get to where I'm going by any means necessary. And the military only reinforced my discipline to let me know that you can't make a mistake. You can, and if you do, fix it quick, because if not, you can hurt the people around you. And the people that I'm trying to build around me for business ventures and so on and so forth, I know that these people, they have to be on the same level, the same thinking capacity, because when you sometimes you can be talking in a straight line, but due to the fact that you've grown so much, people think you're talking down when in reality you're talking on your level. It's just that they can't get up on your level, so they say that you're talking down. But in all actuality, it's a simple conversation, and they don't want to try to understand where you're coming from. They would rather be in this victim mentality saying, oh, you think you're better than me. You toot your nose up when you're around. Well, no, it's just when you know better, you do better. You've changed. You're acting different. Well, that's the point. People think you're acting better than them, when in all actuality, you're just trying to be better than the person that you were yesterday or 5 to 10 years ago. That's a big difference. And people are resistant to change because growth exposes everything: their lack of skills and discipline, their dependence on familiarity, and their overall resistance to change. Because growth is scary. I know. When I left for boot camp, the fraud that was in my throat when I got on that bus and went off to the Citadel to quarantine for the 2 weeks felt like the size of a bowling ball. But the further and further that bus left from my hometown, I was at peace. I, I felt great because it's a new change. It's something new about to happen. It's a big change coming. And I was so excited for it that I'm grateful that I didn't stay. Because if I would have stayed, I don't think I would be where I am today. And that's because I wasn't scared to grow. Well, not that I wasn't scared. I was scared. I was terrified. But I didn't let it hold me down. And now that I've faced those fears, the hardest part now is there's a creeping shadow of guilt that creeps over me. It creeps because it feels like I'm leaving people behind, when in all actuality, I'm just choosing not to remain stuck. And if you feel the same way, I'm not telling you to leave your friends and go in the woods and do yoga. But if that's your thing, namaste, forest warrior. I'm telling you that it's okay to evolve, because the bigger your vision get, the smaller your circle gets. It's an inverse relationship, because the more you learn, the more you want to bring people along. But some people can't see themselves in something bigger or a part of something bigger than themselves. And sometimes people are just a part of your journey, and that's okay. And if you're 23 like myself, you're trying to turn mountains into steps. Just trust that outgrowing people, hobbies, and even dreams sometimes, it's a part of the climb, because some people are just a part of the soundtrack to those fun times you have. And just because they're on a soundtrack doesn't mean that they're going to be on the album of your whole life. Appreciate your friends. Friends, cherish those memories. Hold them near and dear, because they're what makes you who you are. But we're all growing spiritually, emotionally, and hopefully financially, eventually. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And drop your story of a time where you outgrew a friend or noticed yourself drifting away from people because you were excelling to a next level. But that's it for now, guys.